This podcast contains a brief reference to child abuse. It's less than 20 seconds and contains no detail. But if you would rather skip it, we wanted to let you know it happens between minute 21 and 22, so it can be avoided. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
Let's do it, as they used to say on, what show was that?
Let's do it.
Oh, Bottom.
No, I thought it was Blackadder.
Probably. I mean, both Rick Mayall. We probably did.
I was just going to say, you're absolutely right. It's Rick Mayall, isn't it? Yeah. It's Flashheart. Yeah.
Right. It's December. I'll do the big one. It's December 1979, and much like 2026, things are not well between the US and Iran, with the hostage crisis kicking off in Tehran, and that would go on to be the topic of the excellent Ben Affleck movie.
Oh my God, that's mental. Sorry, what year was it?
We probably shouldn't laugh through this bit.
No, I know, no, absolutely not. Shouldn't not laughing. Just it's an ironic laugh.
The UK singles chart is owned by Pink Floyd, whose anthem Another Brink in the Wall (brackets part 2) is marching towards Christmas #1. Over in the album charts, yes, their double album The Wall is everywhere, while at the cinema audiences are watching Star Trek, the motion picture, finally bring the Enterprise to the big screen. Steve Martin is the jerk, and Raiders of the Lost Ark goes into production. But while Indy, Star Trek and Steve Martin would become household names with many more movies, there's one Disney movie that came out in December that year that would all but disappear for the next 40 years. It's time to talk about, AJ?
The Black Hole.
The Black Hole. Welcome back to the Rewind Classic Movies podcast about films we probably saw as kids, even if we didn't understand the adult themes. I'm GB, and with me is my co-host, AJ.
It is me indeed. I'm here to tell you about films which may or may not be totally made up.
The films are, I'm pretty sure this film is made up. What have you been watching this week?
I watched a film called War Machine. Well, I finished a film called War Machine, which was terrible. So I advise anyone who's thinking about watching it not to watch it.
Is this the Alan Richardson one?
Is that the big tall bloke who's Reacher? Yes, him.
I thought you said last week you started to watch it and got about 18 minutes in and turned off.
That's right. I finished watching it because I thought, well, I'll have a go. And actually, no, it was just bad.
I watched the Brad Pitt and George Clooney movie Wolves this week on Apple TV. Been meaning to watch it for a while. It's actually quite good. It's another kind of sit back and watch two experienced actors play off each other. It's really good.
Right. I watched Aladdin, the live version of Aladdin last night.
Oh, nice. The Will Smith version.
Yeah, not got around to that yet. And that was brilliant.
I'm a big fan of it.
And then, based on us talking about Barbra Streisand, watched Yentl today.
God, you've had a busy day.
I've had a busy day.
Irony to you watching so many movies in the day, and none of them are the ones we're going to talk about.
I know, ironically.
I've downloaded, perfectly legally, all the American Pies, because I'm going to have a rewatch of American Pie, because while I'm doing wedding preparation things, I really want to watch American Wedding. Stifler's
mum.
Mm-hmm. Say my name, bitch.
Oh, God, it was one time at band camp. What a film. I mean, I remember seeing number 2 at the cinema with all of my mates, because I was literally the demographic right on the nose for it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Couldn't be any more perfect. God, what a film. Well, what a couple of films. 1 and 2 are brilliant. I don't think I've seen any of the others.
Oh, you got to see Wedding and Reunion. It's nostalgia fest.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Right, before we get into it, remember you can join us over on Patreon for behind-the-scenes updates, early episodes, monthly live hangouts, and more. It's just patreon.com/Rewind Classic Movies.
But you can also support the show for free by leaving a review wherever you listen or by telling someone else about it. Please do that. If you know someone that likes The Black Hole, then send them a link or tell them to search for us.
Good advice. Right. Directed by Gary Nelson, who'd previously directed Disney's OG Freaky Friday and TV's Happy Days, The Black Hole was released in December 1979 and cost around $20 million to make. It was Disney's first PG-rated film because of the words hell and damn and a bit of a violent death, and was the most expensive movie the studio had ever produced at the time, created as their darker science fiction answer to the success of Star Wars, which the company would eventually own 33 years later. Black Hole would feature ambitious motion control visual effects and one of the studio's bleakest storylines, but it would make only $36 million worldwide back. It would, however, receive 2 Academy Award nominations for Best Cinematography and Best Visual Effects. AJ, tell me about your history with this movie.
I have never even heard of it.
Same.
But, and it's great that you also haven't heard of it, because this is usually just my line. It's like, well, I've not seen it, or I don't know that one.
I've known your catchphrase. I haven't seen
I
it.
know. Haven't seen it, don't know it. But here's the thing. There is one scene I remember vividly that just instantly came back to me. So I have obviously seen this film in my youth and have completely forgotten about it. But one scene, which is quite harrowing, stayed with me as a child. So there you go.
Okay. So the reason we know about it is because we did our Patreon live hangout recently with our very kind Patreons who donate their cold hard cash to help keep the podcast going.
Cold hard cash.
Yeah, ka-ching. And in our monthly live hangouts that we do, we all put forward movies that we think are underrated or recommended and need to be seen by more people. And one of them that was put forward this month was by Bryn, and it was this movie, Disney's Black Hole. And he started talking about it, and we all thought, this sounds quite intriguing. And we Googled it while we were there, and we were like, bloody hell, this looks great. So I changed the movie I was going to choose at the 11th hour, and here we are. Like you, when I was Googling this film earlier, doing my research, I came across the Viewmaster edition of this. So it's basically stills from the movie put onto the Viewmaster. Do you remember that? The little thing you'd put the slides in and click the button and it would spiral around and you'd see these sort of images. I have a feeling that as a kid, someone gave us the Black Hole version of this.
No way.
Very familiar. But I don't remember the film at all.
I don't remember any part of the film. And that's the weird thing, is this is just this one scene. And I would have thought like the robot would have stayed with me. I would have thought that different bits and pieces would have stayed with me. But no, not at all.
Interesting. Well, you at some point you're going to come on and tell us the scene, but not yet, right?
Not yet. So
let's talk about the start of the movie.
All right. It was quite funny, the start of the movie, because it starts, but it doesn't really start. And I remember texting you. So I had a couple of technical issues trying to get this movie to start, because where I live, in the country I live in, which is Greece, apparently you can't watch the Black Hole. So what I had to do is I had to quickly legally fly to the UK and use the English internet in order to watch this film, which is absolutely fine and completely legal.
And this part of the podcast is sponsored by NordVPN. No, it's not.
No, it's ExpressVPN. No, so after I'd sorted out my technical issues, I put it on, and all the fanfare's playing, and it's absolutely brilliant. You've got the soundtrack going on, which is wonderful, and we'll come to that. But it's just a black screen. I'm thinking, oh, Christ, something's gone wrong with the way that I'm streaming this film. And I text you going, what the bloody hell's going on? And then all of a sudden, it starts. So there's basically 2.5 minutes of overture with a black screen. Which is nuts.
I was watching this on a train and on my iPad, and I'd had problems getting Disney Plus to work on my iPad as it was before I left the house and downloaded it. And then when I started watching it, I was like, oh, fucking Disney Plus. I don't believe it. And I was cursing it at the train station and all sorts of things. And eventually discovered it was an overture, which this is the first overture we've covered on the podcast.
Right. And apparently it was it's often cited that Black Hole is one of the last mainstream Hollywood films to actually do that. And
for good reason. We don't need that.
Absolutely. Then you got this voiceover, the giant black hole is the most destructive force in the universe, and immediately makes the film feels like it wants to be more important than it actually is, perhaps. Meanwhile, in my house, my wife's asking if we've accidentally put Moonraker on because of the music that's happening. She's like, is this a Bond film? So I'm like, no, but you could be mistaken.
Was she saying that because of the music?
Yes, yeah, purely because of the music. But the music and because it's space. It's like, is Moonraker? It's like, no, not at all.
Did Barry do the music for Moonraker?
I don't know, actually. I'd have to look that up, which I'm sure you're going to do now. And then
hold that thought. Just hold that thought.
Go on then.
Moonraker, music by John Barry.
John Barry, makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yep. We'll get to the soundtrack, but I do love it very much. Do you know what? And then there's like they're all sort of on the spaceship and stuff, and there's dialogue and stuff happens, and they talk about spacey stuff. And sort of 10 minutes in, I was a bit bored. I don't really remember a lot about what happens, to be honest.
It might be the slowest, weirdest arrangement of an opening of a film I've ever seen, with the overture, and then you get like that green CGI stuff comes in for the titles.
Yeah,
that's like another couple of minutes, and then they do that whole reading out scientific readouts and chat about course corrections over a static star field before you then see the bloody actors, and they do more talking of things that aren't really going anywhere.
It's just like, but in a way, reflecting on it, it's kind of like they're just doing their jobs at the moment, and it's just like we don't need to see all of this doing their jobs, but also why not? It's fine. They're just chatting. But the weird thing is there's just no real character development there, which you'd feel in that instance there would be more character development than there actually is, but there really isn't.
It's funny. It's not going to be the first time we compare this to Star Wars in this podcast, but
maybe for you. I mean, I'm not going to because I don't know Star Wars.
But the 77 Star Wars, that this was sort of, we'll come on to whether it was piggybacking off it or not. But Star Wars opens with one of the most explosive starts a movie's ever seen. Just two ships chasing each other and one firing on the other, and it's all chaos and explosions and stuff. And this is so far away from that. I know we'll come on to the soundtrack, but throughout all this kind of fairly boring stuff that's happening, the soundtrack is what's keeping my attention. And I'm just thinking from the off, I'm like, this is a mix of classic On Her Majesty's Secret Service Bond and the Dr. Evil theme from Austin Powers.
Yes.
Did you think that?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And at a time, a little hint of Ghostbusters. I know this is pre-Ghostbusters, but...
I had a long car drive the other day. Car drive in a van. Either way, it was a 5-hour stint across Greece, and we listened to this soundtrack a couple of times with my colleague. And yeah, at one point I did think that's very Austin Powers, Dr. Evil, when you see the volcano or what have you. And yeah, I mean that's why Austin Powers is so good, because they got it right on so many levels.
Yeah, right. But let's talk about how this movie came to be. It started with an idea from Bob Barbash and Richard Landau, who went to Disney with an idea for a disaster film in space, which they were calling Space Station 1, because this was the era of disaster movies like The Poseidon Adventure and Towering Inferno. But the concept was before Star Wars. This was early 70s. So even though it came out in 1979, the space thing was always there before that. It was on and off the shelf as various people retired and then unretired. And it was going to be directed by John Huff. John Howe, one of those pronunciations, who had just done Escape to Witch Mountain in 1975. I'm going to go
Howe.
How?
I reckon John Howe. I'm going to go John Howe.
How do you pronounce it, or Huff do you pronounce it?
How do you pronounce it?
Yes, exactly. But John Howe, who directed Escape to Witch Mountain, bailed just as the audience's interest in disaster movies was waning. But at the same time, there was becoming more and more talk about black holes creeping into public consciousness. Gary Nelson, who went on to direct it, turned it down at least once before some miniatures and some matte paintings changed his mind. I don't really much have to say about the production of it in terms of that background. I don't know about you.
No, it's interesting you talk about black holes creeping into public consciousness. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on, about some of the things that they say, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Is this going to be like you doing your cliffhanging and your scuba
No,
diving
not at all. No, not at all.
Well,
no,
I didn't realise you're a
just
scientist.
No, well, I'm married to one.
Of course.
Yes, and obviously we sat down and watched this as a family, and from the immediate get-go, the person who I'm married to immediately went, well, no, just like I do with the climbing and the fencing and the diving and everything else. She was like, just no. And they're talking about event horizons and not Epstein. Something.
Oh God, I hope not.
Oh God, they're talking about Epstein back then. Rosen Bridge and all that sort of stuff, and all these terms we are more familiar with today than back in '79. No one would have known about these things, but these are things actually we do learn about in school now.
How did that affect your enjoyment of the movie, having someone be like that right next to you the whole time?
Oh, it's absolutely fine.
Makes a change from you doing it.
Absolutely.
Just as we're about to go into the cast and stuff, one thing I found really interesting about this is not only is it a film that neither of us have seen before, but we're also slightly edging into an era that we don't know that much about in terms of pop culture. This is filled with actors who are largely out of our sphere of knowledge, or a time in which we don't really know about. So it's kind of interesting. Dead. Well, yeah, but looking at it in terms of the directors or the production of it, there's not a lot that makes a lot of sense. We are a bit strangers in this time. So let's dive into the cast. And what I wanted to start with was the robots. Vincent.
Yes.
Before we get into the casting of Vincent, we have to talk about his name. So Vincent is a abbreviation. Do you know what this stands for? I don't think it's ever said in the film.
No, it isn't. And that's the thing, because I was looking out for it. I thought it was going to be written somewhere, and it was only when I was reading about it. It stands for Vital Information Necessary Centralised Labour Force, I think.
Yeah.
And his mate's got an equally weird name, but I don't actually remember what his full, something to do with the sanitation or something. Yeah. Like,
how you get Vincent from that? I mean, I know how they get it, but it's shit.
I think maybe they just called it Vincent and they were like, well, we need to get something from Vincent. It feels like it's that way around.
You wouldn't go, look, let's call this thing the Vital Information Necessary Centralised Labour Force. Oh, we could call it Vincent.
Yeah, definitely a weird one, that.
But voicing him was an uncredited Roddy McDowall, who, of course, was a huge actor back in that era. He has almost 300 stage and screen credits, including he played Caesar in the OG Planet of the Apes.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, but
why was he uncredited?
I know. All I can think of is it was some sort of Disney deal thing. Maybe he had a contract with Disney or something like that. Because yes, having him uncredited in this is crazy.
Because it's a large part, and he's got some brilliant one-liners, and Yeah.
But I do think that Robot Vincent looks like a future generation of Henry Hoover. That was my first thought.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I'd not seen that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And I do like that he doesn't have this sort of cliched robot voice. I think a lot of things of this era were kind of, okay, we'll do that. But then I suppose also C-3PO didn't either.
No, you're right, actually.
But good choice. And we also get Slim Pickens as the voice of old Bob, who's also uncredited.
That is weird.
Now, I don't know what your Slim Pickens knowledge is like.
None. I have none. Okay. None at all.
I'm vaguely aware of him because my dad used to like a lot of cowboy movies and he was in a lot of those. But he was also the guy riding the bomb in Doctor Strangelove. And he was in Blazing Saddles.
No way.
So again, another big name that was uncredited.
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Unless it was back in the day, for voice-only roles weren't really credited or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my favourite person in this is Robert Forster as Captain Dan Holland. I do have a fondness for Robert Forster. I mean, he looks young in this because of the other things we've seen him in more recently, but he was in Breaking Bad, Jackie Brown, the Tarantino movie, for which he had an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor.
No way! For Jackie Brown? I know he was in Jackie Brown, but I didn't realise he got a nomination for that. That's mega.
Yeah, got a nod for it, yeah. He was in the Christopher Reeve remake of Rear Window, Olympus Has Fallen, Delta Force with Chuck Norris. I mean, God, what a career. But I just love his demeanour and his style of acting. It does remind me a bit of a sort of Harrison Ford. And I think Forster's very good in this. I think he has some really nice pacey action dialogue. He's sort of the best thing in it at times. And I could see him as a bit of a Han Solo in another life.
Okay. Han Solo. Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. All right.
What do you think of him in this?
Yeah, I think he's absolutely fine. I don't think. Well, yeah, I don't think I've got anything to say about him. I'm largely ambivalent. I don't think his acting was necessarily bad, but I don't think it was necessarily stand out for me.
Do you think anyone is in this? Vincent. Really?
Vincent for me is the character. Okay. I think that absolutely carries it as far as I'm concerned.
Do you think?
We haven't got onto him yet, but Dr. Hans Reinhardt, Maximilian Schell,
which is ironic because his evil robot's called Maximilian, which is his name.
I liked his evil demeanor. Yeah, I wouldn't say I preferred him, but I preferred his character, if you will.
I love that we get on board the ship and we suspect these are bad guys, and the first voice we hear is German, like some sort of evil cliche.
It was literally, I've got this in my notes, my wife instantly said, of course he's fucking German.
Yes, and can we say that your wife is part
German?
Part German.
Yes, yeah, half German, half South African. And you've got you've.
Well, we should say
instantly
that Maximilian Schell is Swiss,
Austrian. I thought it was Austrian. Oh, okay, Swiss.
Swiss.
Ah, well, Swiss.
Something close.
Whatever. What I mean is, he's the evil guy, and he's he comes from that part of the world, which back then was that's still fresh in the memory of things Guan.
Yeah, his role in this reminds me of Dr. Zarkov from Flash Gordon.
Oh yes, absolutely.
He has this familiar "I need your ship."
He's got this nuts demeanor, sort of unkempt, stubble, hairs all over the shop kind of thing. Slightly mad scientist, mad sort of professor kind of vibe going about him. So, and I really liked his character, especially when he's hosting them for dinner later on. No, I've got a lot of time for his character, and what I really like when you first meet him, they do that letterboxing on the eyes with the lights, and they just pick out his eyes. It really makes him look quite evil,
I didn't spot that. That's nice. I was watching it on an iPad.
Fair.
Well, I mean, he was a huge name as well back in the day. He was an Academy Award winner, and he received the Austrian Cross of Honour.
No way. Is that what he's wearing at the dinner time that makes him look like a Nazi?
But, and we're going to talk about this briefly, he was also quite evil in real life. His niece and his daughter came out to say he abused them when they were children.
Oh, no.
Yes, and
sake.
This not technically a crime. His last wife was 48 years younger than him.
Oh.
Yeah. Should we talk about Dr. Kate McRae?
Moving on. Yes, with the hair. Yeah.
Yes, the character with the hair. Yes.
Well, I know what I mean is she had quite a distinctive sort of bun going on. It wasn't long and flowing.
Oh, would you like some interesting hair story about Dr. Kate McRae?
Yes.
Oh, by all means.
Have you got one? Oh, I just thought her hair was. What I mean is, from her character, she had a very practical space hair style.
There's a good reason for that.
Right.
Check this out. Before I do that, I'm going to rewind a bit. So director Gary Nelson wanted to cast in the role Sigourney Weaver.
No way.
But, cue crazy movie industry decision coming up, the head of the casting department said her name was ridiculous and vetoed it.
No. Her name was ridiculous.
Yes.
Well, that's ridiculous.
Well, we're not casting her.
Sigourney, with a name like that.
Yes. So, Jennifer O'Neill was originally cast in the role. So she was an actress and a model and would go on to be in things like Scanners. And just as a side note, she was married 8 times. I thought that was interesting as I approached my second.
8 times. Wow.
Yes. I don't know how you do that in a lifetime, but there we are. She did it.
Bloody
but
hell.
she was told, bear in mind she was a model, that she would have to cut her hair because it would be easier to film the zero gravity scenes.
Dude, there you
Makes
go.
sense.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I'm going to read the next bit from a page on the internet. It says, initially hesitant, she eventually agreed and brought her personal hairstylist, Vidal Sassoon, to the studio.
The OG haircutter.
The man. Yeah, the man that makes the shampoo. But she had consumed multiple glasses of wine during the haircut, then left the studio noticeably inebriated and was subsequently hospitalized following a car crash, which cost her the role. Yvette Mimieux was cast the following day and agreed to have her own long hair cropped.
What? That's mental.
Wow. Yes. I mean, that story's got it all.
Wow.
Yes. I found her quite wooden. It was a bit like old school acting or something in the way. Something didn't quite work for me, but I did like the ESP that she had. I thought that was a fun surprise I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, right. I think they could have lent into that a little bit more or something. It was just a bit of a casual, oh yeah, well, I've just got this. Oh yeah, you've got that, haven't you? And no more said about it. I felt they could have used it later in the film a bit more than they did. I don't
Part
know.
of me had a weird skeptical moment where I went, oh, I reckon that was them probably trying to do something like having the Force, because they'd just seen that in Star Wars and chuck that in, communicating with your mind to the robot. But actually, in that first movie, they don't really do a lot of that kind of Force thing. He says, you don't need to see their identification and all that kind of thing, but it's not really the Force that we would know it back then.
Oh, is it not?
Probably not. No, probably just a story point.
Fair enough.
Yes. Next up on my eye list, I've got Ernest Borgnine as Harry Booth. Do we want to have another punt at his name, or Ernest Borgnine?
Is it right? Well, I was going to say
from Star Trek.
Well, I was going to say Borgini.
Yeah, I did try and look into the pronunciation.
Italianize it, but do you know what? It's difficult to know. I love how we.
Well,
just
his
know
real
the
name
names.
is like Elmer Borgnino or something like that.
Yeah.
I knew him best from a movie called Space Island that I had in a really fancy 3D case on VHS as a kid. Like you'd look at it in different directions and like the different layers would shimmer. And that turned out to actually be a mini-series in English made for Italian TV called Treasure Island in Outer Space, which is literally what it was.
What?
Yeah, it was fascinating. He was great in it, but he also did Airwolf and Escape from New York.
Airwolf?
Yeah, you remember Airwolf, the TV series?
I do.
Yeah,
I haven't heard that name in
helicopter.
ages. Yeah. It was like Knight Rider, but helicopter.
You got it.
Somehow.
Just like Black Hawk. No, what was it called? Street Hawk was the motorcycle version of Knight Rider.
Right. God. And Escape from New York. Bloody hell. Didn't know that.
One of your favourite films.
Yeah.
Any more on the cast you want to talk about? There's loads of cast in this that we could talk about, but we don't really know any of them.
No, this is the thing. I mean, I didn't really know this, but I thought it was worth noting, if you haven't got him on your list, is Anthony Perkins, who plays Dr. Alec Durant. My wife said, that's the guy from Psycho.
Ah,
and I said, the hotel owner, Norman Bates Motel. And she's like, yeah. It's like, God, I mean, I wouldn't know that at all, because, I mean, I've seen Psycho, but I wouldn't remember it, really. Who's in it kind of thing. Obviously, brilliant film. Looked it up. Yeah, absolutely bang on the money. He was not Anthony Bates. Sorry, he's Anthony Perkins playing Norman Bates. So
does your wife want a job on the podcast?
Well, this is the thing. I did say to Dolly, "Do you want to do the podcast? Because you can talk about all the science, you can talk about all the cast and the characters. Yeah, you can come and talk about Barbra Streisand and Yentl, because I was listening to Yentl today, right? And she knows all the words. And she's like, "Oh, why are you listening to this? Oh, we did it on the podcast. I would have come on the podcast if I knew you were doing Yentl.
Lentil.
Lentil. Yeah,
Lentil's that vegetarian musical.
That's the one. Yeah.
Right, let's move on to talk about visuals and VFX and stuff, because this is quite a biggie for 1979. So before we get into what we think about it, just some background, right? Star Wars had changed the whole industry with the technology it used to create space scenes using things like motion control for ships and stuff like that. And Disney was planning on hiring Industrial Light and Magic, which was the department that George Lucas set up, but it wasn't available, and it was also very pricey. So they invented their own. Lol. I think it was that easy. But they did it. Incredibly, they did it. And that allowed them to shoot live action that could be added on to matte paintings later and be quite free with what they were shooting.
Sure.
And they made 150 matte paintings for the film, but only 13 were used. I don't know why they went so above and beyond, but they did. But interestingly, there was some behind the scenes sort of trading of skills when ILM asked Disney to work on the shot of Luke's land speeder driving through the desert, and ILM filmed the Cygnus for this movie as a test shot to show that the Disney tech and the model and stuff was good enough for it to work, which I thought was really interesting.
No way.
It was like just the guys that work there going, "Look, can you do this? All right, can you do that?" That sounded like they were keeping the execs out of it.
Oh, this is the thing, right? I mean, that's nuts. They made 150 matte paintings.
I know.
And then used, like, none of them. Wow. Okay.
I mean, the film, I don't know where you go, well, they just reuse stuff, because it all looks good, as we'll come on to.
It does. I mean, I'm just amazed. I suppose there's only so many black bits with white dots on that you can create, I suppose. Yeah.
The cinematography of this, I think, is excellent.
Yes.
They got a nomination for Academy Awards for it, but the meteorite crashing into the ship is one of the greatest VFX shots I have ever seen.
Okay.
Do you not think?
Is that when it takes the dining room off the top?
It's when it comes in through the ceiling and they're running across the bridge and you've got like this big burning ball of orange flame.
Yes.
Coming in and they're just outrunning it, basically.
Yes, I know.
It looks
I
amazing.
I would... Do you know what? I'd have to watch it again.
It just blew me away watching it. It blew me away when I saw the trailer and I was like, shit, that's incredible.
It didn't stick with me or anything like that, which is actually, maybe that's bad of me.
Probably for a movie podcast, yeah.
Yes. I mean, that is amazing. I completely agree with you. What a fantastic bit of camera trickery, bit of smoke and mirrors there. Whoa. Yeah.
Do you remember in the beginning when they were looking at the holograms on the ship and you could see the actors through the holograms and stuff, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
That I thought also looked bloody brilliant because what they're doing, technically, there's so many challenges involved in that. And I think, hot take, I think that's better than Star Wars did it.
Okay. Yes. Oh, you mean when R2 or 3?
Yes, R2D2.
The little dude on the wheels. He's
showing Princess Leia
on the little jobby. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. I know what you mean, actually. They do look more lifelike, don't they? More fleshed out.
Just the way they shot through the hologram. I thought it was brilliant. Anyway. But do you notice there's almost zero camera movement in this whole film?
It's all locked off, isn't it?
Yeah, even during action sequences, it stays locked off.
But they also had to. Jesus, I mean, the cameras in those days were massive.
But don't forget, Star Wars was 2 years before this.
I don't know, were they not locked off? This is the thing, I don't know shit about Star Wars. You keep going, I think about Star Wars. I don't know anything about it, for God's sake.
Star Wars had its locked off shots, but there was a lot of movement as well.
Fair enough.
And that's one of the things that I think makes Star Wars stand apart in this comparison. But apparently on the Blu-ray version of the Black Hole, there's so much detail on the modern version that a lot of the matte lines and the wires and stuff are visible. I don't know if you noticed it based on what you were watching it on, but on my iPad, I couldn't tell anything.
I didn't notice anything like that. I mean, the matte lines, yes. You can always tell the matte lines, but the wires, I didn't notice any wires at all. Wasn't looking for them either, in fairness, but yeah, I saw the matte outlines, but yeah.
What do you think of like the sets and the overall visuals and stuff?
I love the sets on their spaceship, the whatever that's called before, the begins with a P.
Palomino.
Thank you, Palomino. Oh yes, that's the one. I was thinking Palangrino, but I knew that was a drink. And I love the sort of sitting around the center console, and she's going up and down, I don't know, the hatchway bits and stuff, and it all looks really cool and smooth and nice. Wondering how they've done it. She must be on wires or something. It looks smooth and stuff. The other guys, they're sort of sitting down. It's like, well, like you're not strapped in or anything. You just sat down. So gravity is like a bit of an afterthought. It's selective gravity. Is what I like to call it.
Same note. I mean,
and they're sitting on. Well, no, it's all right. They're just sitting on office chairs. It seems.
Yes, I made the same note.
Oh, right. Yes. I mean, I'm sat on it now. Like I'm literally. Someone's just gone. Well, these will do. Just put them round. You know.
I thought that was such a weird combination of rolling office chairs and gravity. And I made the note that we've been watching it for a couple of minutes of them chatting around this thing. No hint that there was any kind of gravity in play other than, normal gravity. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly one of them just jumps over this like hologram console they've all been stood around and sat around. And then just carries on standing. Like it just does this little mini leap. And then moments later, she comes down the hatch upside down and just sort of flips down. And it was so weird to see it, but they did it so brilliantly. It looked great and natural, and no obvious wires and no obvious CGI. I've got that written. The flip that she does, where she comes out. I rewound it actually to watch it again. It was so nice. I'd love to know how they did it. Actually, I thought it was really good. It really gave the impression of like being zero gravity, and then but the dudes next to her are sat down in seats. Yeah.
So like lovely that you've done that, but like that's ruining it because seats and sitting.
And also funny that the whole hair choice that they had to make, and how she had to have a haircut, was probably for that one shot, but her hair for the whole movie is like that. Because gravity does not affect the hair in any other part of this movie.
Yeah.
Oh man. But yeah, the sets and the visuals all look good. I can't put my finger on why Star Wars 2 years earlier sort of felt better and felt like a timeless quality to it, and this feels very 70s or earlier to me.
It definitely feels earlier than 79. I feel.
I wonder if it was the lighting and maybe the camera movement.
I don't know what it is about. And it's funny you say earlier, you mentioned about the fact it's slightly out of our scope. It is. I mean, there's not a lot of films I've seen some films from this era, but not a great deal, I suppose. So I don't know what they...
basically 30s, 80s.
Yes.
And not a lot in between.
I don't know really what they look like, as it were. So, yeah, it felt earlier than 79, but then also it's still also 79. It was quite a while ago, and I think some of the stuff they were pushing the boundaries, and some of the stuff they were doing, because it did look good. Like you said, I didn't know it won it won an Academy Award, yes, for cinematography. It was brilliant cinematography, absolutely. I think they really, really cleverly thought some of that stuff out. There's a bit where the ship like rolls over, and everyone goes upside down, and that was really cool. Where they've basically just flipped the camera, and that was a really nice shot.
Yeah, there's a bit in it where they reveal the humans underneath the robot. When he pulls his little robot face off, and I just like the idea that the bloke who built those robots went, "I'll just put a bit of circular plastic over their faces, just sort of loosely place it there." Yeah. There was no sense of real detachment or connection at all.
Yeah.
But the person that you see behind that mask is an uncredited director, Gary Nelson.
Yes. Yeah, I read about that. That was and that was horrific.
Yeah.
I mean, when he took that mask off, the face is properly gaunt and hollowed out. It looks like a corpse in a way, Yeah. It was quite They
chose director Gary Nelson because he looked like a gaunt corpse.
Is that right?
No, that's just made up. I'm assuming that's makeup. Any more for you on visuals?
No. I mean, no. There's an awful lot. You could talk about the visuals for a while. I don't know. There's all right. There is one bit. They're in the. I want to say the monorail bit. I mean, it's not a monorail. But you know where they're on that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The outside monorail with the clear ceiling.
That's it. And the first bit looks cool. The second bit, when they're all trying to escape blowing up or whatever's going on there, so they get on this monorail and they've got to go back, and that bit just doesn't work, and they sort of go upside down, and the camera does this loopy thing, and they sort of do this loopy thing. It's just like, but they're not on the tracks anymore, so it just wouldn't be going anywhere. Like, there's quite clearly a track and a cart on it, and they've just come off the tracks, but they're just sort of going, and it's like, oh no, but okay, it's a science fiction film, fucking whatever, but it just, that kind of pissed me off a bit,
My thought on that really pisses you off.
That really fucking pisses me off, Mr. Barton.
That bit, my thought was they've just come off these spaceships with their very big, thick and fancy, heavy doors, and suddenly they're on a roller coaster with like some glass above them or something. I'll be thinking, fucking hell, don't put me in here. Well, this doesn't look very safe. Right, music then?
Yes, let's.
Good. Before we get onto music, I just want a quick nod on sound effects, because you won't know this, but there are Star Wars sound effects all over this, or at least what I'm going to call Star Wars sound effects. Things like the hissing sliding doors.
Sound bank. Nice.
Brilliant. Ben Burt, yeah.
Nice.
That's what it sounded like to me, but then, for all I know, Ben Burt could have stolen some of those elements, so who knows?
Didn't hear a Wilhelm scream in there.
No, I did not either. So the music then. Go on, what do you think?
I bloody love the music. I've listened to it a few times. I've listened to it a couple of times driving. I listened to it because you text me going, you won't believe who bloody did the soundtrack. It's like, oh, what? Amazing. So I've listened to it with my colleague who was also into it. And then I also listened to it once, I don't know, at home, or I was driving somewhere, I had it in my cans. it's just great. The overture is great. It's absolutely on the money. He's just got it down. Absolutely got it right.
I really like it as a score. And like you, I've listened to it several times since. It is classic John Barry.
And it's not really long either, right?
No.
It doesn't go on for ages.
I think even as it is, it relies somewhat on repetition, should we say. But it was the first score recorded digitally, which I thought was interesting. And that caused them some problems when they come to remaster it in later years, and the technology they recorded it on was no longer available.
Oh my God, that's funny.
That's a technical thing that I find quite interesting. It was weirdly familiar. I wasn't sure if I'd heard it before or if it just had some melodies from other things.
Like Bond?
Yeah, sort of, but like
I know.
the Dr. Evil theme obviously steals from this, but they were just, even like the main hero theme. I just found it really interesting.
It's that bit that's really familiar for me.
Yeah. I mean, you made it a bit like a showgirl tune or something there. I
can't help it. That's what I do.
There's a lot of darkness, a lot of repetition, and the polar opposite for that uplifting theme. And it's just a weird, odd musical moment from John Barry when in the scene where Dan goes to rescue Kate, and it's all quite tense, and it's like, oh shit, we've got to go and get her off the ship before they go to the black hole and everything. The score, before he gets there and before he's saved her, gets all triumphant and melodic when it should stay tense and dramatic. It felt very premature that he's sort of gone in to save her, but it was a lovely Heroes theme, I have to say. An absolutely delightful Heroes theme. Again, it just felt weirdly familiar.
It's funny that you say that it didn't feel quite right at that moment. There's the lobotomy scene. Is that when you're talking about? Is it the lobotomy scene where she's about to be lobotomized?
Yes, I think so. So
and she's got the tinfoil around her head.
Yes.
Right. Here's what I wrote. It feels like it came to an end, the music, when she got rescued, and then basically they just looped another bit on. Like it felt so disjointed. It was like, oh shit, the scene's still going, just quick, stick a bit on, but they didn't really make it sync up. You'd have to listen to it again and again. I did rewind it. It's like, God, that just feels so bolted on. Really? It's almost like he didn't actually compose it in sync with the film. He just made some music and go, there's your music, fit it to the film however you want. It felt a little disconnected to the film in a way.
33% of my working life manipulating music soundtracks to fit new lengths of film. So I can relate and empathize. Any more for your music?
No. Brilliant though. Absolutely loved it.
If you had to rate the score alone?
I'd go an A.
I'd go B.
Okay.
I think it's good. I think it's possibly, if anything, slightly derivative.
Fair enough.
Could be unfair, but that's what my ears hear now. But that, again, it's just because it's familiar and I don't know why, but there we are.
Yeah.
Maybe I was listening to it in the womb or something.
Oh.
What a horrible thought that is. Right, let's talk about things we want to talk about.
Yeah, let's.
You can go first if you like.
Okay, cool. I mentioned it earlier, actually, in fairness. So my wife had a field day with the science, and that's fair enough. I think it's more... We talked about gravity being largely optional quite a lot, and it's more sort of like sci-fi science rather than anything sort of classroom science or actual physics which has laws defined. But
that's every movie, isn't it?
It is, but it just felt like quite a lot. For example, there's when they're running through the that greenhouse bit with all the, I don't know, they're growing all the vegetables and all the food and all that sort of stuff, and it rips open to outer space, and the robots get, and the plants instantly freeze like they do in The Martian, with not Ben Affleck, the other guy, Matt Damon. Matt Damon. It's forever going to be a thing, that name, isn't it? And the plants just instantly freeze. Everything gets frozen, and you can see that. But apparently, humans totally fine. They also don't freeze, and apparently can survive without any atmosphere for extended periods of time.
That was the one bit I was like, well, this doesn't make any sense, even to me as a layman.
You know, like, all right. Yeah. And I don't know, they said something like, I don't know, the Event Horizons, and they were sort of talking about, like, I don't know, I can't repeat, in fairness, what my wife said, because I don't actually understand it either. So,
well, you're not as clever as she is.
Exactly, I'm not even vaguely clever, so it's fine. I'll let it go because I don't, and I just thought that was good filmmaking, but she can obviously, see straight through it. There's always a trade-off.
I think there's a fair shout, though, about that one scene in particular. For me, what I find interesting about this is how it's just been so forgotten about. After its initial cinema showings, it did come out on video cassette and had a release on CED video disc, if you ever had one of those.
What?
I didn't. Yeah, I won't bother.
CED video disc?
There's a very technical explanation for what CED stands for, but I won't bore anyone with it. It didn't take off. And then there was a VHS and DVD release in '99. Then 20 years later, it arrived on Blu-ray, but they fucked it up and they left off all the special features from the VHS and DVD versions and the opening overture.
They didn't put the overture in.
Yeah. But 2 months later, they did a new version and put it back.
Oh my God.
The overture, that is. They left off the special features, I believe.
Amazing.
And these days, it is available on Disney+, but I don't know anyone who has ever seen this movie or talked about it. It just seems completely to have disappeared from people's consciousness.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I thought I'd never heard of it. I don't remember any part of this film apart from this one scene, which we'll get onto in our favourite scenes and lines later.
And I'm sure we'll talk more about it, but I don't feel like it deserves to be forgotten about.
I don't think so. No. And it's funny because we all sat down and watched it as a family and we laughed a lot at some of the, God, but it's 1979, so it's cool. Yeah, all right, we can tear into it because we're used to completely different filmmaking these days. But I don't want to. I feel like I'm going down the ranking road now. I don't want to do that.
Don't you go there?
Don't go there. I'm still not sure where I stand with the film. That's the thing, and this is the thing. It's a really interesting viewing experience, this one. We had a lot of fun watching it, and that's everything, right? Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, whether you're taking the piss out of it or whatever, we all sat down and had a good time watching this film, and that was a lot of fun.
Not to preempt it, but you've enjoyed watching it as a family, and you've listened to it repeatedly, the soundtrack. So they're already ticking boxes for us to
I know.
Another one from you?
It's interesting. It was just about the way that Disney approach this. I would like to know what they were thinking when they made this. Now, I know that they're obviously trying to cash in a little bit on, Star Wars or whatever. Moonraker. When did Moonraker come out?
79. Same year.
79. Right. It's all very spacey, isn't it? So everyone's trying to jump on, the space race, as it were. But it's not just that they're trying to do that. It felt quite. There's a lot of religious, almost sort of religious stuff, especially later on in the end, which we'll talk about later. And you've got this kind of, this sort of prophet or tyrant or sort of, visionary scientist bloke who, likes formal dinners and then talks about, destiny and is gonna go into the black hole. So but everyone knows you can't go into a black hole, you twat. It's just, you can't do it. Stop it. But the other guy's totally buying into him, right? And this is the bit that got me. There's Dr. Durant. He's sold. He's drunk the Kool-Aid. He's like, this guy, I'm going to follow him. And the other people are like, no, don't be doing that, mate. No, we're just going to fix our ship and be on our merry way. It's like, no, this guy's a visionary. He's onto something. He's going to talk to the voice of God, I think he says, in the wormhole. And it's like, it is dark. Some of the themes they're talking about for Disney, this is, a real breakaway.
There are plenty of examples of history where certain leaders have manipulated people to believe things and follow their cause, and it continues to this day to be happening when people want to, get close to God and believe they're following God because their leader tells them that's the way.
Yeah.
But you're quite right. I don't know why Disney chose to make this. It's a weird one. Like, there's no joy in it.
No, you're right. There isn't. The only joy is Vincent being funny, I suppose, or that was the only sort of Disney bit with the two robots.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I just found there was a bondness about this movie. I know we got Barry as the composer, but even like some of the set designs were a bit Ken Adam.
Yeah.
And the feeling of sort of being around the villain, dancing around his grand plan, felt a bit of that era Bond.
Yeah, absolutely.
I found that very familiar, which I quite
I
enjoyed.
suppose actually you're right that the dinner scene, that's very, the bad guy, whoever he is, Blofeld, whatever, is like, come in and dine really well, and then I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, come, Mr. Bond. We both enjoy killing as much as the next man. Or whatever the line is that I've just butchered.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is some terrible dialogue in this.
There is.
I won't save it for scenes and lines because it's not a favourite, but one of the worst ones was, "Vincent's my name, sharpshooting is my game, try me."
I quite like that.
Oh, did you?
Oh, it's not a favourite, but I quite like that. Basically anything he said, because he's the comic relief, I suppose, in the whole film. Or both of them are, It
just felt so forced and cheesy. I didn't do anything for me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Have you got more things you want to talk about?
No, that's my lot, really.
Right.
For things I want to talk about, I'll get to favourite scenes and lines later, and there's some bits there.
Another thing for me is pacing. Halfway through this, I made a note and I just put, "Still not in the black hole." And I had no idea that we would never really get there. I just sort of assumed it would be a movie about being in a black hole and whatever weirdness is in there. A bit like the Planet of the Apes or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It just sometimes really drags its feet with sort of scenes and exposition and just things going, what is happening? Would somebody just do something to drive this film along? It was so enjoyable, but it was like people just meeting in corridors and stuff, and I was like, please, someone like just press the go button on the ship or something.
There were shots that just didn't need to be as long as they were, or the edits could have been a little bit quicker. Yeah.
And I think some of the reason it feels long is the directing and the blocking. A lot of it is very much, let's put these X number of people in a scene and have them talk to each other next to each other. Whereas other directors would go, well, we'll block this, so this character moves here and the scene changes and things and it evolves, but that doesn't really happen very much. It's either people talking in a group or shots back and forth. But there was going to be a modern remake of this.
Oh, okay.
Do you know about this?
No.
So Joseph Kosinski, who did Tron Legacy for Disney and also did Top Gun Maverick and the F1 movie, was attached to direct this in 2009.
Okay.
And they had Prometheus writer John Spates.
Oh, mega.
Was on it, writing the script. And he described it as very faithful to the original, but clever in all the ways that the first film was silly. Intriguing.
Okay.
But guess what? He said it was put on hold because it was, quotes, too dark for a Disney movie.
Right.
History repeating itself much.
That's funny.
God, Disney sort of not disowned it, but they slapped their first PG label on it and sort of distanced themselves a little bit from the first one, and now they've gone, "I can't even make that, it's too dark."
But mind you say that, at least it's on Disney Plus, unlike Willow.
True. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? A new thing that they've paid loads of money to make, they take off.
Yeah.
Well, it's all to do with royalties, isn't it? And
I suppose it is, isn't it? Yeah.
Stuff.
Yeah. They must. It must be the residual payments, right? Because these
everyone in this is dead.
Dead. Mostly.
There's still talk of a different version of the script maybe being worked on in the future, but Joseph Kosinski said his version was cancelled because it was too similar to Christopher Nolan's Interstellar.
Oh my God. I mean, all right, I get it in a way because there's.
You can see it, right?
Yeah, I get that. Probably not on the mind-bending level of what Nolan makes, but yeah. I suppose there's only so. Mind you, say that we've talked about this before. Quite often in Hollywood, two different studios will be making like almost the same film. So why not?
Let's talk about the end of the movie then.
Let's.
98 minutes later,
bloody hell. I mean, it's on the money. Nice, 98 minutes. Get in, get out.
Close
We
enough.
like
They
it.
could have shaved 8 minutes off this to make it 90 if it...
Easily. It's definitely what the fuck? It just went mental at the end. I was not expecting that at all. So they all get. I mean, not Maximilian. The
Dr. Hans Reinhardt.
Dr. Hans Reinhardt, the German guy, the mad German scientist, dies under a flat screen TV.
Yes, that was such a weird death. Like, I'm
Yes.
expecting someone to sort of get revenge or,
I thought he'd just get
hero.
sucked off into space or something like that. But no, just gets this, oh, God, it's really heavy. It's like, but they're not anymore, mate. But it's just, help me. Oh, and then he's gone. And then they're all going into the black hole and they can't get them, but they're all going down this black hole, right? And they're in the black hole or they're somewhere. And then suddenly Maximilian and the mad German scientists have sex.
Wow.
And join each other, and like he becomes inside him, and then he's like, I don't know, the devil all of a sudden in hell. And there's fire and people standing around, and he's standing on top of this thing, and it's like, what is this? And then there's this sort of, I don't know, it reminded me of the heroes all go down like this sort of green glass tunnel that reminded me of in Willy Wonka when they go on that river rapid down that tunnel. And then there's this sort of white figure, and then I don't know. Then they end up at some other planet that looks a bit like the moon in front of them, and then credits. And we were all just, excuse me, a baking powder.
Yeah, I mean,
go on.
the ending hellscape bit is like, it looks incredible, but I didn't quite get the whole Maximilian and Reinhardt merging thing, or maybe I did, and it was just a bit naff, and I didn't want it to be what I was seeing. And the first time I watched it, I just took it literally, in that, he's burning up and all this kind of stuff and finds himself in the bad place, and the good guys find their way to a nice place. And it was only when sort of just rewatching the ending and rethinking about it that it's quite an obvious heaven and hell metaphor, right? They're all dead. Would you say?
I wouldn't.
I'm not sold on it. Like, that was my guess of what they were sort of trying to do. I don't know, but I do. It's got that kind of Nolan open-ended, whatever you want to think about it is fine vibe about it.
It's funny. I hadn't considered them being dead, but then obviously the German scientist is dead because he's got crushed by a flat screen TV. The others,
He could have survived that.
Have they all gone to? He's gone to hell
floating in
and
space, and he's alive, and there's hell
I know,
everywhere.
you're right. Actually, do you know what? I hadn't really thought. I hadn't really thought at this point because I've stopped thinking now because like, what the fuck is this? I don't really.
It was
know.
weird. Like, suddenly seeing him floating in space next to the robot and fire everywhere was a bit like, what the fuck am I watching?
I know. The whole ending was just a bit of an acid fever dream. It was just nuts.
I did enjoy it. It wasn't like I was watching it. This is really weird, but I was fascinated by it, and I was like, "What actually is happening here?" Like, because there's a bit where the two of them merge together, and it sort of just pulls back through this hellscape, and it's like a real landscape of fire and everything. Just really well done. And I was like, is something going to be revealed here or whatever? I was in. I was totally on board.
I hear you. I did. I was desperately going, what the fuck is this? But it was amusing, I suppose.
Yeah. Our Patreon Bryn, who recommended this movie, sort of spoiled it before we decided to watch it by saying in our live hangout, we went, there is no happy ending. So I was sort of had that half on my mind a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, should we do favourite scenes and lines?
Let's do favourite scenes and lines.
I have one line and one scene. That's all I've got to talk about.
Okay, fair enough. I've got a couple of scenes. So the thing that really got me is when Dr. Durant gets killed by Maximilian. I remembered that.
I suspected that might have been it.
It was
Something
very
you
vividly.
traumatically remember as a kid.
Absolutely.
Mine was RoboCop 2 when the cop's chest gets cut open. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. And it's funny because when I saw this, I thought, God, I've seen this. And I remember thinking it was from a much higher, like a 15 or like a film I probably shouldn't have been watching at my young age or something. I felt I'd remember the scene from a worse film, if that makes
PG.
any sense.
Disney movie.
I know. It's like, oh, that's from this film, but I don't remember any of the film. This is the weird thing. I don't remember the robots. I don't remember any of it. But I remember that scene with the turny hands and it going through the book and then he lands on the electrical cable, whatever, just down there, and oh God, that stayed with me for sure.
I want to ask you actually, what did you make of in that? Just after that scene, Dr. Hans says to Kate, he says something like, "Save me from him,
save me from Maximilian."
Yeah. Do you what was going on there?
I don't know. Was he turning on him? Because they never made any more of that.
No.
I thought there was going to be I thought he was going to join them all. He was suddenly going to turn and go, oh, I'm being held hostage by Maximilian. He's the one that's controlling it all or something. But nothing happened.
I was expecting that to be the twist where
yes,
the robots actually killed all the crew members and were sort of holding him hostage. And I thought there was going to be some more to it.
I thought he was going to be, like, I don't know, Hal or something like that. This really evil computer, and he's like, fucking hell, get me out of here. But
actually, it was almost like a desperate man still trying to achieve his objective, I think.
Maybe, I don't know, they'd filmed that as when there was a slightly different script, and they'd had a rewrite or something. I don't know, it felt out of place, and I was expecting more to be done on that. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that scene where he gets killed is part of the reason why it's PG.
And of course, the other guy that just sort of takes off, who chickens out and just runs back. He's like, "No, fuck this. I'm off. Like, no, where are you going? Oh, it's all right. It's all right. We're safe because he's dead now. It could have been us.
I thought that was really well done. That bit actually, I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
You could telegraph it, but I thought it was executed well. One of my favourite lines is, or the only one I've made a note of, is Pizer early on says, "Vincent, were you programmed to bug me?" And he says, "No, to educate you." Oh, sick burn.
I've got the exact same fucking line, you bastard. Yeah, the same one.
Well, what else have you got?
I liked the dinner scene, and again, I've talked about this earlier, because it felt a bit Bond final meal where you meet the guy kind of thing. Just the visuals of that were quite interesting. And I liked the way that they explained the food, the organic material they've got, and why there's so much of it. And he's like, "Oh well, not so much these days. It's only me that eats. It's only me." And it sort of leads into the these guys are sort of all human, all the robots and stuff like that. And it reminded me, because you've mentioned about Flash Gordon as well, the people operating the controls in Flash Gordon, doing all the machine pressing, the button pressing, all that sort of stuff, had a similarity in this to sort of pressing the buttons. That kind of
they get their faces pulled off as well.
They do.
Or
they do.
Goggles.
It reminded me a little bit of Flash Gordon. Yeah, yeah.
The only favourite scene I've made a note of is unfair that it's not really a scene. It's just that shot I talked about earlier, that meteor crashing into the ship. Just a huge wow for me. I've watched it a couple of times. It looks amazing. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I've seen anything that good in any movie ever. There we go. I'd like to have that as a screensaver.
Oh,
old school screensaver.
Yeah, screensaver.
I'll load it up onto my Windows 95 machine.
Nice. But
that's everything from me on Scenes and Lines. So you fire away as fire and will, Commander.
I'm gone. That's me. That's your lot.
Cool. So it's time to rank it then.
I think it is. Let's rank it off. Man, this is a difficult one, right? Because I totally didn't. I enjoyed this film. I absolutely enjoyed it. There was no part of this I didn't really enjoy. There were lots of it that were like, God, what were they thinking? Or that's a bit flat, or that's not very good. But I think for 1979, and again, I'm doing that thing where I've come to this film having never really seen it, or evidently seen it once as a kid. You love, and I've said this before in previous podcasts, you love The Karate Kid. I don't. I didn't see it as a kid. I didn't grow up with it. Didn't see it. Wasn't interested in it. So it's boring for me as an adult, I'm afraid. And I feel, or I'm worried that, I'm going to have that same opinion of this film. If I'd seen it as a kid in the 70s, if I was alive and I'd gone to see this film, I might have been like, whoa, this shit's amazing. Like The Labyrinth. If I'd come to The Labyrinth as an adult, I'm not sure or Labyrinth, I would have got it necessarily. And I'm struggling to rank it because I think it should be more well known. I liked it. We all enjoyed it. We took the piss out of it quite a bit. Totally not a bad film. I'm going to go B.
Okay. Like I said earlier, there's no joy in the movie. That doesn't mean that I didn't have joy watching it. I did. Thought it was a good movie, and I understand the problem of having a Disney badge on it, but it does make me want to explore other movies from this era, like Towering Inferno and all that sort of stuff. Some real classics that I've not seen. And so I was thinking, what do I give it? And this is the first time actually that the ranking came to me before this moment. Came to me this morning. I just randomly was thinking about it and it just popped into my head.
Did it? As you came this morning?
As I came this morning. And I just thought, I'm giving this a B.
Cool.
Like a solid B, because I can't give it an S.
Nice.
And
no.
I can't really give it an A.
I can't really give it an A, but I don't feel I can give it a C, right?
No, exactly that. I definitely couldn't give it a C. It's a strong B.
Yeah. Nice.
And I actually do want to watch it again.
I know, right? I feel like I want to sort of revisit it again and just enjoy it now rather than typing up notes and stuff.
Yeah,
I'd like to just watch it.
There's sort of an intriguing darkness about it. And now having seen the full picture, makes me want to go and watch the whole thing completely. Just because now I know like the ending and how weird it was.
Yes.
I kind of want to put all the rest of it back in context again. Mm-hmm. There we go. Right, let's read some comments from people on the internet, from our Patreons.
I ought to have this tab open already.
While we're doing that, I'm just going to read one from Instagram that I know is there, and that is from Matt Garvin. He says, I wore out my VHS copy of it. It's amazing.
I mean, that's great.
The first person I was like, oh, someone knows this movie.
I love that.
But let's move to Patreon.
Patreon. Kat from Patreon, who's the first one I've come across. I was taken to see this in the cinema, my second ever cinema visit, and rewatching it this week makes me realise my parents clearly went off the fact that it was going to be another lovely Disney. But then my mum also took me to see Watership Down as my first film, which she thought was going to be about cute bunnies. Oh, brutal. That film. Not S tier, but I'll happily give it an A, as I saw this before seeing Star Wars, so this film was my intro into the world of sci-fi. Cool.
Nice. So Bryn, who is the one who suggested this film in our live hangout, says, for me, this really is an underrated gem. I can't imagine what Disney executives made of their studio's response to Star Wars when they first saw it. It may be their darkest film and certainly their most imaginative and ambitious live-action one. I first saw it as a boy, and it left such an impression on me that I've returned to it again and again. Yes, the cute robots and occasional laser fights are for the kids. We didn't talk about the laser fights, actually.
Pew, pew, pew,
they were largely pretty terrible. But
they were.
I like the gun design. I like the dual gun design.
With the twisting hands on the red dudes, and and the black dude who's shooting, in the shooting gallery. That was cool. Yeah. Sorry, should have talked about this earlier.
Yeah, I know, right. But this is also an attempt at true science fiction and even horror in parts. The story is simple.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes, I would agree. I love how the story is simple, but it doesn't feel simple. This is what annoys me about modern movies, is you don't have to make a fucking convoluted plot to make something good. There's something going to happen. Let's just see how or if it happens. The cast is solid, with Maximilian Schell bringing some of that intensity for which he is so well known to the crazed scientist role. The sets and special effects for its time are magnificent, and the design of the ship is truly unique. John Barry delivers a brooding and haunting score, one of his best. And as for the ending, well, I know there are many who dislike it, but I find it mysterious and mesmerising, just like the rest of this strange beast of a movie. Whether you love it or hate it, every film fan should see it, and I'm glad you're getting the chance to now. No S tier from me this time, but for the lover of the weird and wonderful, it's an easy A.
Easy E.
Wouldn't fight that. And I do find the end mesmerising is the right word. Kind of want to watch that, just the ending again, even.
Yep. Yep.
Simon does say he's never seen it, but because Bryn is a gentleman of exquisite taste, I shall give it a go-ahead ahead of the episode.
Excellent. Well, mate, thank you very much, Bryn, for suggesting this. It's been really nice to see a film that I know very little about. I've fully enjoyed that.
I think that's an interesting thing for this podcast. You know, we set it up to go and just rewind classic movies that we liked. And actually, it's just as interesting, whether that's for us and people listening, to occasionally look at something that we haven't seen. Right. If you want more things like Vincent and old Bob, we'll both be back next week with a fast forward episode, and it's going to look at our favourite movie robots. How are you feeling about that one?
Yeah, I've got a lot of robots to talk about. Some and some interesting ones I'd sort of forgotten about from my youth as well. So yeah, we're looking forward to that one. Got a few good ones in there.
But what's the next movie we'll be rewinding on the main show, I hear you ask? Well, this time it is the Patreon's pick. We had a live hangout the other day and everyone nominated a movie, and we let a random spinny wheel decide what we watch, and the winner was... Do you want to tease it? You can't remember, can you?
No, and the winner was youths who don't have a map or compass and apparently have lost their way or something. I can't think of one. I'd completely forgotten the film, to be honest. I thought you would. Yeah, anyway.
It's
Lost
a movie
Boys.
about a family moved to a new town only to discover some of the locals have a very unusual appetite.
That'll do.
Remember that?
That's much better. Do you want to do that one?
I don't want to mislead people into thinking it's some sort of adventure fucking map reading exercise.
Peter Pan thing. Oh dear. So yeah.
Right, that's the show. Thanks so much for spending time with us. If you want to come hang out, get behind the scenes updates, bonus content, or early access to the episodes, then head over to our Patreon where you can get a backlot pass for just $5 a month.
But anyway, please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever. It all really helps. You can also find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Rewind Classic Movies. If you wanted to drop us an email, it's rewindclassicmovies@gmail.com.
We'll see you next week. Sorry about the mess. Say goodbye, AJ.
Bye.
Very good, very nice.
Very good, very nice. Very good, very nice.